What did you have to drink?
A couple shots.
A couple shots?
Yeah.
Do you know what they were?
Whiskey.
You are under arrest for driving while intoxicated, okay?
Okay.
I don't agree with what we did out there.
All he told me was, do you know who that is? It blew my mind. I was like, holy, this is one of my supervisor's daughters. So I was like, there's my career right there. Like, I'm done.
Is she fall down drunk? Is she throwing up on herself? Is she incoherent? Is she just absolutely gone? He said, no, she's just, I think she's had too much. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna call her dad to come and get her.
This is not what I would call an attempt for cover-up or corruption type issue.
Hello, and welcome back to Legal Dissent, where we evaluate your constitutional rights before they're taken away. Today, we evaluate a news story from the Midlothian, Texas Police Department covered by CBS 11 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As always, links to the original videos, case law, statutes, and contact information for the law enforcement agency involved is located in the description below. If you'd like to contact us as well to let us know how we're doing, or if you have videos you would like us to evaluate, please find our contact info in the description as well. And as always, if you enjoy our content, please do consider subscribing, liking, and letting us know that you support us in the comments below. It really does help the channel out a lot in the YouTube algorithm. At 2:30 a.m. on March 12th earlier this year, the 21-year-old daughter of Midlothian Police Commander Clay Regan was pulled over for driving erratically in her red Jeep.
11:21.
It was the middle of the night in Midlothian when a police officer spotted this Jeep.
The reason I pulled you over is you're all over the road.
In a field sobriety test, the driver stumbled and struggled to keep her balance.
What did you have to drink?
A couple shots.
A couple shots?
Yeah.
Do you know what they were?
Whiskey.
To the two officers on scene, it was clear she was impaired.
You are under arrest for driving while intoxicated, okay?
Okay.
But once they had her in handcuffs, they checked her license and realized just who they had arrested.
Officer Philip Evett did everything right up to this point. He pulled over a driver with just cause. He conducted the field sobriety test and concluded that she was driving while intoxicated, leading to a legal arrest. So what went wrong? Well, Officer Nicholas Vanderkar recognized that this was their boss's daughter.
I don't agree with what we did out there.
Officer Nicholas Vanderkar was the first to recognize that the driver was the daughter of a Midlothian police commander.
Hey, Evett.
You can see him remove his body-worn camera and ask his partner to do the same.
What's up? Put this in the car real quick. All he told me was, do you know who that is?
The news hit him hard.
It blew my mind. I was like, holy, this is one of my supervisor's daughters. So I was like, there's my career right there. Like, I'm done.
Officer Evett called his sergeant, Stephanie Hansen. The sergeant said she told him to let her go.
Is she fall down drunk? Is she throwing up on herself? Is she incoherent? Is she just absolutely gone? He said, no, she's just, I think she's had too much. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna call her dad to come and get her.
Go ahead, unhandcuff her, unarrest her, and just hang out there.
The officers did as they were told, releasing the woman to her father. But their actions that night left them upset.
And I couldn't sleep. I mean, because again, like, I know what we were doing, I didn't believe in.
My wife even said when I got home, she's like, are you okay? Like, I was pale. It bugged me a lot.
The officers deactivated their body cams, contacted their sergeant, and the sergeant ordered them to let her go and allow her father to take her home without being arrested. I believe that while imperfect, America was still built on the fundamental idea that royalty and special statuses based on the genetic lottery should not exist. Yet we live in a society today that grants the families of politicians, sport figures, Hollywood movie stars, and apparently even the daughters of police commanders special privileges based simply on who their parents are. To the driver's credit, she did not mention one time who her father was or threaten to use her family's position to weasel her way out of the incident. Obviously, she should not have been driving under the influence, but the blame for the biased policing effort in this situation lay squarely on the officers and the sergeant involved. The officers say they regretted it and felt like they did the wrong thing, but watch how they cover their tracks.
There was no record made of the arrest, no incident report, which is required when anyone is restrained. Officer Evans says he went to Sergeant Hansen at one point feeling panicked and scared.
She's like, well, it was my decision. Like, don't talk about it.
No arrest record, no incident report. Don't talk about it. In addition to this, the body cam and the dash cam footage was marked as non-evidentiary, which meant if no one caught it within 1 to 2 months, it would be deleted forever. Marking footage as non-evidentiary requires a conscious choice. For every segment of film collected, they have to select if it was a traffic stop, evidentiary, or non-evidentiary. Again, no incident report. When an incident report is required for whenever anyone is temporarily restrained. Does this sound like the actions of officers who are trying to do the right thing and just help out a coworker? Or is it a department that is corrupt and capable of covering their own tracks? You decide in the comments below.
Why do we arrest her?
She's Commander's daughter. And I know that in our policy, we have discretion, and in this state law, we have discretion.
Officers do have some discretion when it relates to arresting individuals. Typically, we are arguing for less officer discretion when it comes to overzealous arrests of citizens when the officer lacks appropriate probable cause or happens to stumble across the evidence necessary to arrest someone based on an investigation conducted without reasonable articulable suspicion. The state of Texas grants officers a significant amount of discretion when it comes to arrests for traffic violations. You can be arrested in the state of Texas for every traffic violation except for speeding and the open container offenses. They must base their decision to arrest or not to arrest on how potentially dangerous that person is to society, likelihood of them showing up to court, and potential danger to themselves. It is not typical for officers to let a driver go that they had probable cause to arrest for driving while drunk. That being said, I am unable to find any statute or law that demands that an officer actually arrest someone that they find breaking the law. So, theoretically, the sergeant is correct. Officers in Texas seem to have the ability to look the other way and not arrest people that they witness committing crimes. Which makes you wonder, why don't they exercise this discretion in other types of incidents, like filming a post office or a police station or anything that doesn't seem like a huge deal? This doesn't sit quite right. However, Midlothian Police Chief Carl Smith claims his department does not have a corruption issue at all.
This is not what I would call an attempt for cover-up or corruption type issue.
The chief says the officers didn't appear to be trying to hide what they were doing, and that the department is working to ensure officers know it is not okay.
That we've done a pretty exhaustive evaluation of the last 2 years of arrests and contacts to make sure that this is not an ongoing procedure.
The department is also considering a new policy requiring a high-ranking chief or commander be contacted in the future whenever anyone is handcuffed and then released.
And you were the one who determined the discipline, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
The best part, the discipline doled out to the officers who turned off their body cams, violated department policy by failing to create an incident report, lied about the categorization of the body cam and dash cam footage, and the sergeant who instructed them to let the drunk driver go and to not talk about it. What do you think these officers deserve as punishment? Suspension? Fired? Let us know in the comments below.
As discipline, the officers received a written reprimand in their files. The sergeant orders to attend ethics training and to take a paid day of leave of her choosing.
The sergeant in this case is directed to take a day to reflect on the policies that were violated and to learn from those and to report back to the chief.
We asked the chief about Sergeant Stephanie Hansen's punishment. She was the one who ordered the commander's daughter be let go. She's been required to undergo ethics training and to take a day of leave.
It looked like it was a paid day off of her choosing, which I think some people would say sounds a lot like a vacation day.
It may well be a paid day off, but it is no vacation day.
The chief said he considered the sergeant's history as a stellar employee. If she has to be disciplined again, he says, she'd face tougher consequences.
And I thought the Spanish Inquisition was bad, but the most barbaric forms of medieval torture cannot hold a candle to what the Midlothian Police Department dishes out upon their employees. A paid day off to reflect on department policies, a whole day to sleep in, catch up on your favorite TV shows, and spend it with loved ones. Oh, and she even has the ability to choose when she gets her free vacation day. This is not a punishment. This is a reward. I have never had a boss unhappy with my work product tell me, hey man, I'm really displeased. Go take a day off and think about what you've done. When people ask me why I am so hard on law enforcement and why I don't give them a break, it's because time and time again I've witnessed police not giving other people breaks when they have violated the pettiest of laws. I have seen prosecutors trump up charges unnecessarily and immorally to force defendants into taking bad plea deals so that the prosecutor can make his 4 o'clock tea time on a Friday afternoon. I have observed officers use their power to manipulate, control, and destroy people's lives. No one in everyday life has more power to obliterate your world than an angry officer who had a bad day and wants to take it out on you. This case shows the amount of discretion available to officers to make decisions that have life-altering impact on a daily basis. The scariest part about this is we would have never known if someone on the inside did not alert the media. Was this a good Samaritan or just simply someone with an axe to grind against someone involved? Who knows? But it highlights just how little we realize law enforcement can get away with, and we are none the wiser. If they want to create evidence to frame someone, they can do it. If they want to conveniently lose evidence to help a buddy, they can do it. Most prosecutors are rubber stamps for police officers when they decide to file charges, and most judges are also just rubber stamps for officers when they are requested to sign search and arrest warrants. This government is supposed to be a system of checks and balances, and the police have been unchecked for way too long. When you are given the opportunity to vote in your county elections for elected prosecutors and judges, you better be getting out there and selecting individuals who care more than just being tough on crime, and select people who will fight for your right to be free. I know there are good police officers and there are bad police officers, just like there are good attorneys and bad attorneys, good YouTubers and bad YouTubers. The difference is, I'm not carrying a badge that grants me qualified immunity to destroy your life. We'll see you next time right here on Legal Dissent.